In a small town nestled between mountains, there lived a young man named Ethan Carter. He had always dreamed of becoming an architect, designing buildings that would stand the test of time. But life had never been easy for him. Born into a poor family, he worked multiple jobs just to afford his education. His father, a factory worker, had always told him, "Hard work never goes unnoticed, son. Keep pushing." Despite his determination, Ethan's path was riddled with obstacles. His grades started slipping due to exhaustion, and his professors doubted his ability to keep up. The weight of financial struggles and academic pressure became unbearable. One day, after failing an important exam, he felt his dreams slipping away. "Maybe I'm just not meant for this," he whispered to himself, staring at the rejection letter from a prestigious internship he had applied for. The words felt like a dagger to his heart. Just as he was on the verge of giving up, Ethan met Mr. Lawson, an old architect who had once been a legend in the field but had disappeared from the limelight. Mr. Lawson had been observing Ethan's struggles and saw something special in him. "Failure is not the opposite of success, Ethan. It's part of it," Mr. Lawson said one evening when he found Ethan sitting alone in the campus park. "Do you know how many times Thomas Edison failed before inventing the light bulb? More than 1,000. Ethan looked up, curiosity replacing his despair. "But what if I never succeed? What if I'm just not good enough?" Mr. Lawson smiled. "The only people who never succeed are the ones who give up. Come to my workshop tomorrow. Let me show you something." The next day, Ethan visited Mr. Lawson's workshop, a small, cluttered space filled with old blueprints, models, and unfinished projects. The old man handed Ethan a wooden model of a bridge. "This was my first project," Mr. Lawson said, his eyes gleaming with nostalgia. "It collapsed the first time I tested it. I could have quit, but I chose to learn, and that, my boy, is the secret persistence." Ethan was inspired. He decided to give himself one more chance. Under Mr. Lawson's guidance, he started working harder, but this time, smarter. He studied late into the night, practiced designing small models, and took every bit of criticism as a lesson rather than a failure. He applied for another internship, and this time, he got accepted into a small firm. It wasn't the prestigious company he had originally aimed for, but it was a start. Over the next few years, Ethan faced more challenges, but he had learned how to handle them. He worked at the firm during the day and studied at night. His passion grew stronger, and so did his skills. He slowly built a reputation for his innovative designs and problem-solving skills. One day, a renowned architectural firm announced a competition for young architects. The winner would get the chance to design a public landmark for the city. Ethan hesitated at first, the old fear of failure creeping back in. But then he remembered Mr. Lawson's words, "The only failure is giving up." Determined, Ethan poured his heart and soul into the project. He spent months perfecting his design, making countless revisions, staying up nights sketching and modeling. When the final day arrived, he submitted his work and waited. The results were announced a month later. Ethan sat among the other contestants, his hands shaking as the jury called out the names of the winners. Third place was announced, then second. Ethan held his breath. Then came the moment, and the first prize goes to Ethan Carter. For a moment, he couldn't believe it. The room erupted in applause, and he felt his eyes well up with tears. He had done it. He had proved to himself that perseverance and resilience could overcome any obstacle. Ethan went on to become a renowned architect, designing some of the most remarkable structures in the country, but he never forgot his roots. Years later, he started his own mentorship program, helping young aspiring architects who struggled just like he once did. One day, a nervous young student approached him after one of his lectures. "Sir, what if I fail?" the student asked, fear evident in his voice. Ethan smiled, placing a reassuring hand on the student's shoulder. "Then you learn, and then you try again, because failure is just another step towards success." And so, the cycle of inspiration continued, proving that with determination, resilience, and the right guidance, no dream is too far to reach.